What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today me and Nick are going to give you guys some tips on how to throw approach shots more consistently. Alright guys, so tip number one is to find something that you're comfortable with, whether that be in a forehand or a backhand. Whenever you're put in a situation, you need to have a go-to shot. My go-to on approach shots is the backhand, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about when I come up to an approach shot. My number one tip is the V-shape. I like just to make this V right here with my arm. Keep my hand up, my elbow in tight, just like this. Instead of having a long reach back, you just want to keep it simple, just right here, okay? And my second tip is to use your legs. So I like to get all my power on my approach shots using my legs instead of, using a full reach back. I just kind of rock back on my left leg, which is my back leg, and then just kind of push off. And the final tip that I have is to throw your disc nose up. So I like to throw my disc nose up so I don't get a ton of glide on my approach shots, just to keep it as close to the basket as possible. Looks a little bit like this.
If you're more comfortable throwing forehand approach shots like I do, here's a few tips to dial them in and make it more consistent. The number one thing I think about is minimizing your arm movement and keeping the elbow nearly connected to your hip throughout the whole throw. Instead of pulling a whole reach back, you keep it right in here. It's a very short, very simple motion, not a lot of room for error. My second tip is keeping your palm up. So if you've got your elbow quiet and your palm is facing up through the entire flick on every approach shot, you're never going to turn the disc over, and you're going to get consistent flights every time. My third tip is making sure you're spinning the disc. So when you're coming through, you want to have a little wrist action, because if you're not spinning the disc consistently, then you're going to get wobbly flights and you're not going to have the same distance and shape on all your approach shots. I'm going to show you how I throw a forehand approach. Another important thing for approach shots is throwing overstable discs. The reason you need an overstable approach disc is because you're going to get the same result every time. Your flight path is just going to turn, it's going to dive into the ground, and it's not going to have much glide. So it's very easy to be consistent.
All right, so Nick's very confident in his forehand approach tips, so I'm going to give him a test.
All right.
So we got elbow in, palm up, flick of the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Pretty good.
Like magic.
Yeah. I don't usually backhand in the open, but I'm gonna try out Jasen's tips. So this little V, use my legs, nose up. All right. Perfect. Once you get all these tips down, you're gonna feel like Steph Curry. It's just gonna be automatic. You'll be dialed in within 30 feet. Actually, within 15.
30 feet.